this year, Torville and Dean made a spectacular return, facing the music. And a rare chance now on BBC One to catch them during their gruelling months of preparation, recreating the magic.
BBC Radio Nottingham.
20 to 10 on the nose. They were the best in the world, and they came from Nottingham. At the Ice Stadium in Nottingham, they practiced till they were perfect, and then they conquered everybody. Jane Torville and Christopher Dean, our very own ice skating darlings, and they're getting honorary degrees from Nottingham Trent University.
You perhaps remember the old joke. What's the definition of an intellectual? Someone who can hear the William Tell overture without thinking of the Lone Ranger. Well, let's try this one, shall we? Since then, anxious questions were prompted by their art. Surely that isn't sport. Is that art? How can they re-enter the Olympics?
Former Olympic ice dance champions Jane Torville and Christopher Dean are going for gold again at next year's Winter Games in Norway. Their return has been made possible by a change in the rules on professional sports stars competing in the Olympics.
I think the timing was just that we were ready as people in our careers, what we've done, and really it's a sort of a final, I don't want to sound melodramatic, but we are getting towards the end of our skating life, but we still feel very much at the front of where the sport's at, and whilst we can do it, we want to do it.
I was looking at how many minutes of skating time the whole competition would take compared to how many minutes we were working on for our current tour, and it was considerably less. And I said, oh, well, that's easy then.
It's early autumn '93. Each morning, Jane Torville and Christopher Dean commute here. They've hired the rink for 4 hours a day, 6 days a week, to practice compulsory dances with fixed steps and patterns, prepare an original dance, the rumba, and create the 4-minute free dance on which their comeback will finally be judged.
Detailed on the free dance. Each day we will take a section and we'll say we've got to achieve this today, and then we'll double that section, get onto the next bit and build it, and we'll get to a point where we're then running through it, and then we'll break it down again and repeat the process.
Leg low. Wait. Treble.
Andrew is there for us every day. He is a choreographer himself too, and has a very good eye for line. Because he's worked with us for so many years now, he understands the way Chris choreographs, and he understands what we're trying to achieve on the ice.
I started working with them exclusively as a trainer, third eye mirror. This was before we worked with the video like we do now, and they relied upon me, and that's how things started.
From here, you went out and you took long.
Sometimes we might spend a couple of hours on one move alone. Depends how bad it is or how much work we feel that we've got to put into it.
Don't stop, don't stop. Not a brow, it's there and then through. Yeah, but can you just do that? That's looking better. Up. Try it. And pull. Pull up. Stretch. And keep closed there. Keep closed there. No, you don't leave your head over the right. Look to the left. You're long there. Look down at your second foot. Now you're going to go that way. You're too late looking where you're going to go. Your head's still out.
I don't like that.
I do. Just see him got the timing. Watch the back leg. Is a bit bent too.
We've used video in the past quite a bit.
He's stepping not too bad.
We've probably never used it this early on, even though Andrews can tell us things. It's good to have that reassurance of the video too.
It's better than it was.
Yeah.
You mean you want us to do it 20 more times?
No, I mean, it's like musically.
As a start.
Musically.
The leg go around the back of you too much.
It still feels new, even though we keep repeating it all the time. And then if we do get one little step or movement right, it's worth doing it 1,000 times.
And head. It's really getting really detailed to the point that you know exactly where everything has to be. Your head, your arms, the legs, eyes, head. Well, inside the head, I mean. Sometimes we tend to come on and we sometimes leave the head in the dressing room. Are you going to do it half, do it, or are you going to do it full out and do it properly?
I was doing it properly. We just not together, aren't we?
I think you're doing it like you just got off an aeroplane. You need to do it with music. We wanted to not just to have pieces of music that sound like it's hacked together with a razor blade and pieces of tape stuck together. That we wanted a whole continuity.
Trumpet.
Today, Torville and Dean hear for the first time how the arrangement they've commissioned should sound when it's recorded by an orchestra.
That's all the brass.
Boom,
Yeah, that's where you're doing those kicks on your left. Yeah, and we can put timps on those as well if you want them heavier. But that's something we need to.
I don't know yet.
I don't think they need to be that heavy.
Not yet.
No.
What's that?
That's piano.
Will that sound right with that grand sound there of coming that low down?
Oh yeah, because we'll push the piano up in the mix anyway, so the level won't drop.
What we've been doing by going to an arranger is almost tailor-making it for ourselves. Is that we want this section so long, but we want it building here, and we want a little bit less here, and could we add this particular style? Because I think just that richness, that as the music changes, we're able to change. It's easier for us to tell people that we're changing. Yeah. Okay, now we're changing mood. We're going into another area now.
That's brass, obviously. Sax is Sax is doing the figures.
Don't hold it. Do it together. Just do it. There and turn.
No, we've got a back foot. There.
So you're doing back 2, then 3?
Yeah.
I think we used to go and in 1. There's not a hold when it's forward.
He's very forceful, very dominant. And if I was the same character, we'd have too many clashes, I think. But in a partnership, you need someone that's more of a driving force.
And I think that's part of what I do, is that I am pushing. And okay, if I see the mistake or feel the mistake, if it is Jane's mistake, I'll tell her. And if it's mine, I'll tell her that she's made a mistake too.
I'm a pretty sort of easygoing person, very usually placid. And I need someone to fire me up to get me going sometimes, and he's always like that.
Da-da-da-da-da. Where's the weight? Stop. Yes, you can. That's what it's all about. We were going to stop. You just didn't think.
I'm waiting and she's moving. You have your frictions, you have your ups and downs, but it's all related to what we do on the ice.
And that run still isn't right.
Excuse me.
It's not past that. We're friends. We're, you know, good friends, knowing each other for that length of time. I think outside of that, people might view it differently and see it in a different way. I'm sure when Phil first came around and was part of the scenario, it was hard to come to terms with, I think, for him.
Well, obviously, I have a different rapport with Phil, my husband. When you meet the person that you fall in love with, something happens and you know that's the person you want to be with. It's a special feeling. It doesn't last for the rest of your life, I suppose, but there's some kind of magic there that attracts you to each other. You know, I guess we both felt that.
Phil Christensen was born in Chicago. He's a sound engineer who works with Phil Collins and Genesis. Jane and Phil were married in September 1990.
Careful.
Now their home is in East Sussex.
I thought you were supposed to be coordinated.
On leaves.
Smooth.
A big part of my life has been with Chris, working and skating together. You know, all through the sort of teenage years, we were together, and I think they're quite significant.
A lot of people put this emphasis on that, are they dating, are they going to end up together? We knew within that it wouldn't have really worked to work and to be partners sort of in life as well.
Soon after Jane's wedding, Chris married too. His bride was Isabelle Duchesnay, Canadian ice dance champion and '92 Olympic silver medalist. The marriage ended bitterly and publicly after only 18 months.
We were two people that shouldn't have been together in the first place anyway. That was the root cause of our breakup.
The tabloids soon revealed that Chris had a new companion, the American figure skating star Jill Trenery. The pair met when Jill joined Chris and Jane's tour last summer.
Jill's a skater, she knows exactly about skating. You may say, well, Isabelle did too, but there's no comparison. Jill is a completely different person. She understands entirely what I'm doing, and I understand what Jill's doing. You know, she's been a world champion. She knows what it's all about. I really, you know, fallen deeply in love with her.
Will you get married?
I think we can't envisage not being together, so I think that must probably occur. I hope for. I think it will.
Too many bills. I only get bills.
So by the time I get home, you won't get a card for about 5 days. So don't expect one.
You're not posting one from the airport?
No. I think it would be better to get there the night, like, finish competing, and I'll probably be kind of wound up anyway, and then...
Travel and then sleep in, most probably.
Get up and practice.
Yeah.
Get your steady cans on, lads, and we'll run the track again. Run the track.
Woodwind, brass and percussion are recorded first. Strings are added later.
All right, okay. That's bloody loud. Let's stand by, lads. Here it comes. Here it comes.
I think people will listen to it, and after you've heard it once or twice, you're humming it. It leaves you wanting to hear it. It's a pleasing sound. You know, the title of it is very significant as well. Let's face the music and dance, because that's what
we're doing.
The skating, the International Skating Union certainly want a renaissance of dancing, putting back into ice skating.
That's a long blow, isn't it?
Is that, you happy with the cans, Derek?
Yes, fine. I think at the end you should have a ba 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 ba.
Is there a gap in there as well? No, they go. The first note of 35 should be short. No, it's very crooked. It's so long. Somebody was playing da 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 da.
First one starts short.
The fourth beat's short, the first beat's long. Hands on, lads, let's go for
The music that they've skated to in the past has actually personally cost them money. With my contacts in the music business, I was able to get a record company interested in actually paying for that. It's costing them, at last count, £130,000 to go back for the Olympics.
How's that made up?
Well, they have the 4 hours of ice time at Milton Keynes every day. That's not cheap. There's costumes, there's travel. We've been out to Norway. In fact, we stayed there for 3 weeks. They didn't feel particularly good about training there. The place is quite bleak, to say the least. I think if they win, they will definitely become very rich. Maybe £1 million, I don't know. I think £1 million is what we have our eyes on if they do win. The rescheduled tour, from merchandising, endorsements, the normal sort of things that personalities do. TV commercials for four-wheel drive vehicles, I don't know.
Jane Torville and Christopher Dean!
Once you have that stature back again, and you are then like the top of the world, there's the 4 competitions. If they win all of those, they're going to be very, very marketable commodities. Very marketable.
A photo call for an American magazine feature.
They're opening a new show after the Olympics, and they need to project their image widely, and nothing is better to do this than an Olympic stage with hundreds of millions of viewers.
I still think she should be yanked by Chris.
The arms shown to the camera. It needs to open there. Let your head go over. Push your hips
I'm trying to let it go too back.
Their image has probably dulled and faded. They need to come back on the scene and say, this is us, this is Torville and Dean. So from a selfish, one could almost say a greedy aspect, they are coming back to hog the headlines.
Perfection. Let's put film in. Beautiful, beautiful. Very good. Oh, very good. Lovely. Good, excellent.
I'll only have them if you give me a kiss.
No?
Just a little kiss?
Where the spelling open.
We've been courting publicity to a certain degree, to in some sort of sponsorship. Till that time, we were financing it ourselves. But I think we've changed around an awful lot as people over the last 10 years, since 1984, that we've had to go out and sell ourselves.
And now it's over to Andy.
Hot seat time. Torville and Dean are here, so we'll go straight to the phones if that's all right. Line 1, who's there?
Hello, it's Hannah Poole here.
Hello, Hannah.
What's your question? When you first went ice skating, did it come naturally or did you have to work hard?
I could skate forwards pretty easily, but some of the other stuff was more difficult, and I fell down an awful lot.
In the first week when I started skating, I think I broke my leg.
Oh.
But I got back on the ice again.
Did your policeman friends used to tease you about becoming an ice skater?
To begin with, they'd sort of look at me a bit strange, but they got over that.
It was the tights, probably.
They never wore the tights.
They are tight, it's very lycra, isn't it? But lycra's in these days, you can get away with anything.
Well, it's only a first fitting,
I know.
isn't it? It's amazing how tall you are as skates, isn't it?
Everybody says that. You've grown 2 foot overnight.
See in real life, they say, oh, I thought you were taller than that.
Does that feel short there on the leg? Because
Yeah.
you keep pulling it.
I think that wants to be tighter over the hips.
Yeah, it's just when you bend.
Okay, we'll slip the jacket on.
Ron Gunn of Leighton tailored Chris's costume for Bolero last time round. Tonight he's brought the new free dance costume for a first fitting at Jane's London base near Harrods.
I wasn't sure. I cut it a little bit longer than what I thought it would be because it's easier to shorten it.
I think that looks pretty
close. I'll just pin this down on you.
You're going to make it so they won't ride up.
If you're on a basic hold, that's more or less, you see they more or less keep up nicely under his arms anyway, but it's the back that's important. If you can just lift your arms in sort of basic position there. Yeah, that gives you a terrific shape.
I was just looking back at the foot.
I think over the last 10 years that we've learned an awful lot in style and choreography. Our technique has improved, and this piece is really about the intricacy of footwork, and indeed with what our body's doing, maybe it's not so twisted or unusual shapes on the upper half. It's more of a traditional look of dancing. When a man first sort of took hold of a woman and started to dance with her, rather than separately.
Do you want me to turn
Don't act stupid. It's not a quick movement, it's there and it's slow motion afterwards. You're going hit, and it's not that, is it? Now slowly, just slowly.
Chris Ann's Strictly Ballroom specialists in South London are creating ice dance costumes for the first time, with georgette and twinkle nylon, velvet, lycra, sequins and rhinestones.
Within the 10 that I'm having, most of them will be for practice, because really I only need 3 for the main competition. But you also have to wear something in character for the practices at the competition. Everyone would know you've got flash material. It's got to look like you could wear it with it. As soon as you get to the event, you're on display. I mean, the first impression you'll give to the judges and the other competitors is on your first practice. So you have to have all the bits right. To a certain extent, you have to give yourself the most flattering lines for your body, because that helps with the piece, obviously. And also, the less material in a costume, the colder it is, too. It's another factor.
Jane, your expression from here, on these steps here, is very good. It's very strong, very powerful. I said to Andrews, I'm not sure that you shouldn't have that expression throughout the whole piece for this.
But don't you think we took too strong? Where's the coyness gone then? You know, the beginning, when we do these. When they look too strong, shouldn't she have a bit of lightness on that?
Like, for one of the costumes, it would be a 1940s sort of glamorous Hollywood look. And I want the hair to go with that. At the same time, it's got to be something that's tight, because of the movement.
But of course, yeah.
And nothing that's too high because of catching it with my partner.
Don't turn ahead of me.
Too fast. Too fast.
Don't resist me if I've started it. Do it from there.
Her focus
keep it that way.
Expression on it.
Keep it that way. Really force it, because my shoulder has to stay back. But you tend to come through.
I love her expression when she does that. I love it.
But like you
her
want to stick a
eyes
knife
are so
in
big,
at the
you can
beginning.
see them from the end of the ring.
The first competition is only a couple of weeks away. They've mastered the dance movements and steps. It's time to concentrate on look and presentation.
I think that looks awkward. I think it looks terribly awkward there. It looks...
Mine should be straight maybe, but yours got to be subtle.
So much more decorous to me. To me, when I see Jane's arm, there's so much tension in it. It looks so static to me.
Now wrinkle back.
So that goes between.
Yeah, like look at each other there, but now she's got to look
all right,
there.
okay, fair
and
enough.
Look, because I'm.
Yes, you put the focus on the beginning of it, and what she should do, and what she does, in fact, when she's holding it. You actually almost get a leer on it, so you're there. And that's how, that, to me, that's the focus at the beginning of it, and how you should focus on it, not just into it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to do it.
Is that enough?
Yep. Just do it the best you can, really.
Right there. Ooh.
Welcome to the draw for the British Ice Dance Championship.
And Andrew Lally, please come forward.
You can put it back in there.
I have.
What for?
Oh, of course I have. That was only for starting the draw.
No, that's number 3.
Oh, Chris and Jane did this. Oh, sorry, I've done the wrong thing.
Just hold it.
Talk amongst yourselves, Karen.
There's one girl in there that wasn't born when we won our first championship.
Really? In the juniors?
Oh, I don't know.
No.
One of the girls, though, in the competition.
Oh, dear.
Jane Torville and Christopher Dean.
Don't say it.
Number 1.
We're quite happy with the draw that we got because with 13 skaters all doing the same pattern in a compulsory dance, it gets like tram lines out there. And whereas the ice looks smooth to the person watching, to the person skating, it's like getting caught on lines, on other people's edges. You can catch them and get into their groove, and it can really throw you off balance.
It's been a long day today, and I think when you have a bit of nerves, it makes you more tired than you really need to be. Physically, we haven't done probably as much as we would do in a normal training session, but we feel pretty drained then.
I think the emotional side of it, when you're tired, you just put more into it, or you tense your muscles more on. There's just that extra something that goes in there, or you're not as relaxed as you are when you're just rehearsing.
Just come round, and I'll come into killing hold.
And then carry on another circle.
Not do another, like, make it as if it's going into just the in and coming out.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So we'll go up, come round, I'll get killing hold. And then just finish there.
And then we'll go to that end.
Yeah.
There's an intensity about them generally when they train, when they skate. Even last year when we were doing when I was guesting with them on their tour, we would have practice ice before the show, and you remember when you get warmed up and you skate. These two people would be out there training for every minute of sort of the hour and 15 minutes with the coach, with the trainer at their side before they went on to do their performances. It's the same whether it's an exhibition, a practice session, or a championship.
Can you wait till we have the signal, because we're waiting for BBC.
Skate guards have to be in the right place. Chris has to line them up. They have to be perfect. Everything. Once they're there, they don't get touched. They go on. They create an intensity, I think, between them and an electricity, which then only enhances what they do once they get in front of an audience.
The compulsory dance, a nervous moment. The first time they've set blades on ice in amateur competition for 10 years. They must win here to go on to Europe and the Olympics.
Jane really does look cool, and for the most part, Jane is cool, and I am really impressed with how calm she can be during these things. Thank God, because Chris is a little bit more high-strung and the nervous one of the two. I think that he's not any more nervous than he was in the past. It's just that's how he is, that's how he works. I think she kind of keeps him a little calm. Because I'm in love with Chris, I tend to look at his face, look at his eyes. I can tell by his expression if it's a forced smile or if he's genuinely really enjoying himself.
The compulsories got respectable marks, and the rumba was a hit with judges and audience alike. But the real test is to come. The free dance worth 50% of the points.
Just trying to stay
calm. Just not really thinking much about anything. Just what you have to do. Go open your head a little bit. A few steps. Best not to think about them too much, though. This is it. This is what it's all been for right now. Back on the ice, back in front of everybody. A lot of people say, well, it's just a formality, but it's not just a formality at all. It's a big event. It's big for us because it's a return competitive arena. And so everybody's looking to see if 10 years have worn you down, made you older, slower, maybe not as good. But I don't think we'd be doing it if we didn't feel that we could do it. I knew you would be.
These are all what Jane and Chris have accumulated over the years when they've done competitions. People have thrown them on the ice to them at the end of competitions, and they've just accumulated.
The whole collection started when I was still living at home. So we feel that they should live here. It's a skating thing. A lot of people just throw things like this onto the ice.
At one time it used to be all flowers, didn't it? Then it sort of got to
I suppose
teddy
it's
bears
because
and
if a
things.
fan wants to give you a gift, like a teddy bear is going to last for a long time, and flowers won't last forever. That's Walter.
Walter. Okay.
Copenhagen, the European Championships, only a week after the British competition. It's the first time Chris and Jane will see and be seen by their main competitors at the Olympics. The winners here are thought likely to win the gold medal in Norway too. But immediately there's a setback. The judges are not impressed by Torville and Dean's performance in the compulsories. One mark is as low as 5.2, a far cry from all those sixes.
I don't think they could have skated any better than we did. And obviously disappointed in the marks.
The blues was magnificent. Technically it was good, the interpretation was good, and they were so close together.
It was like two people, I thought, was dancing as one.
What our skating is about is smoothness and gliding. And that's really what we wanted to convey with the compulsories.
Do you remember the last time you got a 5.2 compulsory dance?
No, actually. I'm sure we've had one, but it was a long time ago.
What's the feeling now? Are you feeling a bit deflated by it all?
Not deflated, I think we're just surprised.
And Christopher Dean placed only third in the first compulsory comma. Later they recouped a little ground, gaining second place in the blues full stop.
Is it possible to come back from being behind?
Oh, no.
We hope so. Although you most probably would, you would say, we would have said in the past, not that, the compulsory seemed to set the rest of the competition, but we really don't have to believe in that. We have to believe that it is possible. It's the mood of the judges.
One or two people have suggested you weren't being showy enough, flamboyant enough.
Possibly. But technically,
we don't quite understand that criticism because we were always being told that the compulsory section is the technical section, and really they're looking for technically correct edges, timing to the music, etc. And if you're too flamboyant in the past, you were criticised by it. I think coming tied for second in the compulsories obviously disappointed them a little bit, and I think it took the wind out of his sails. I thought, how is he going to react? Is he going to just give up a little, or is he going to fight? And I think it really, he has his guns out now, and he's ready to fight, so I'm proud of him the way he's handled all this week.
They skated a performance of a lifetime. That they really knew they had to bring it off, and they did. It's the best I've ever seen them skated.
5-9, 5-9, 5-8, 5-8.
So you think I was a bit too fast?
I think,
ahead of the music.
ahead of it, way out, especially the beginning of the last piece. When you started the back step, you were doing a different interpretation.
I was being big.
I know.
I won't do that tonight. I'm too tired.
You won't have the energy, I don't know.
Wait and see. Just do what we've got to do.
I think you've got to have that attitude that
Bother.
however much applause they got on the practice.
I'm sure it's a very catchy piece because it's a rock and roll.
Well, it's
what
nice,
they do is very
but
technical.
it's probably not very mature. It's probably gimmicky and,
show. But then again, I don't know. I think the judges are in for the show. I think really it's as much as they say, oh, we don't want these show programs. I mean, we can go out and do show programs. We've been doing it for 10 years. We could come back and do that, But coming back and feeling that, oh, they definitely want technique. That's the feeling. And now we're coming back and doing the technique. And you just get the feeling somebody led us astray.
The rumba was a triumph for Torville and Dean. They're back in contention again, equal first with the Russian world champions. If they win the free dance, they'll win the gold. But the other third-place Russians, too far behind to win overall, could still upset everything if they won the free dance. And they skate after Chris and Jane.
We have in front of us a sheet of paper on which are all the deductions that we have to make during a routine. For the sake of arguments, a couple are not allowed to do more than 5 lifts during their routine. The moment they do 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10, we are supposed to deduct 0.1 for each one. It isn't easy because you might have one couple who is better in their presentation and very good in technique, or you might have another one who has sloppy technique but looks absolutely marvellous doing it. So this is when judging becomes very subjective. You have to really assess one skater against another and take the overall picture.
Chris and Jane's placings are not high enough to win the free dance. Which medal they get depends on how well Grichuk and Platov's rock and roll routine pleases the judges. It's already pleasing the crowd.
Not one more. No, these are... We might even drop to third on these, maybe. These win.
Yeah.
These can win.
Because of the split of the judges, 5-4 is very close.
Yeah.
Might be to your benefit.
I doubt it. It's 5-4, is it? Split.
Confirm, Jim. Tell us, Jim. Tell me, Jim.
With Grichuk and Platov's success, second placings count, and Torville and Dean had just one more than their rivals. By a mathematical whisker, they win gold.
I told you how it would go, didn't I? Congratulations.
You just told me.
I don't believe it.
God.
By default, but what the hell?
Oh. I told you, didn't I? To wait till the others have skated.
Fantastic, fantastic.
We got to thank them for skating so right. Revise.
It's 9 o'clock in the morning, and the new European champions are back for their first practice, slightly shaken by the narrowness of their victory. For a start, they'll have to put a lot of effort into improving their compulsories.
Why are you not trying?
I am, but I can't. If I go, we both go.
You're half. No, you're not. No, we can leave it. We don't need to change anything if you're not going to do it. It's hard coming back. We're in a bit of a void. We're not quite sure what we're going to do.
It's difficult. We're both a bit down. So it's finding the motivation to get back up and say, yes, it's all strong, and we're ready for the Olympics.
Lift.
I can't lift and lean around there.
I nobody said to do that. By lifting your leg 2 inches higher, it means you can't suddenly do the chuck toss.
Seems like you're going before I am.
Well, the leg has to work quicker to get to the place.
But then it'll just flick off, won't it? That's what it feels like. See, I'm taking it off.
Don't hold it then. Why are you changing it? Why you left it in one place the whole time?
You said
it still
don't go
has
like
a round
that.
movement, doesn't it?
Yeah, but mine came down way before yours when we did it before.
No, but that time you held it there the whole time and mine had an arc and yours just stayed in one position.
Well, I'm not used to it.
Huh?
I guess I'm not used to it.
Today's the first day I've seen them since they came back from Copenhagen. We didn't even talk because I thought they just needed some space on their own. So, you know, I had no preconceptions or even knowledge of what the hierarchy that surrounds them had decided needs to happen.
Don't look at me like that.
Well, you're just acting like it's not my responsibility. I'm not changing it. I'm not going to do anything.
I am trying to change it.
No, you're not.
I am.
You're not.
But it's not going to go like that, is it?
Well, you just got an attitude already that you're not going to try. Okay. Hands up, eyes to the ceiling. Yeah, great. Good attitude, Jane.
What's happening? It's starting to look okay. Just the descent. Timing on it.
Well, it's new and you can't cope with it.
I'm doing it.
I know,
You're
you're doing it,
changing
but
to
I'm
such
not.
a degree that you can't change it.
No, I haven't. I've done it twice. It's not matching.
Let's do it 1,000,000 times and let's see if we can
So we did the other way.
Pardon?
Did it the other way.
Well, I thought you would have been adaptable, that maybe you could even make it change quickly.
It's too quick now.
No, you did it too quick.
That's what I said.
Just hold your leg.
But how many beats are you holding it on?
It's just higher, and then it's the same tempo. You suddenly went in one kick and down. What's your problem? Is it heavy?
No, I was holding up before, remember?
You did one and dropped it on one.
Yeah, I
You
did
look
then.
stupid. I mean, you just don't want to be here, do you?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you use it?
Of course, it takes more than one go.
I know, but one, that's too quick anyway. Do you want to go home and come back and see if we can start again?
Do it with me.
I've been doing it, Jane. I've been doing it. The problem is that you haven't even bothered to try and do it. It's no good f***ing crying. I've got no sympathy. No, don't cry on me. Yeah, but I caught you here, Jan.
Left.
We really shied away from the tricks, the stunts, totally, to put the emphasis back on the technique and the dance. But I guess back to the drawing board and see what happens.
Take my waist there. Take my waist there. Don't turn down. Stay facing up if you can. So your legs come up there.
I'm going to just mess about with some ideas of maybe seeing if they fit into the free or not. Some possibly bigger moves. Stunts was a good word, I think. But we don't know yet if anything will come of it.
Couldn't you do the same principle, but instead of going for his back, go here?
Go around the front. Go around the front of me. Take me. Come on, 2 feet together. Hold yourself. Like a dead weight, Jane. Go around. Bend your body sideways. Go outwards. No, that way. Come round me. Bend round me. There. Go. Lay backwards. And go down. Go down. Lay onto my knees. Now rotate your body. Come on. Lift your legs up in the air there. So you're lying on your back with your feet going in the air.
Jane, just let me give Jane a better grip. Just still wrap that one in, but use this hand.
I think she's got to rotate onto that thigh there. I have the idea of... Hold on. And go back, rotate. Legs up. Now go over the top of your head. But you could be, right?
I might be better just to hold the whole waist.
But you won't rotate. Got to rotate onto your back. Okay then. Good. Now lift your legs over. Over your own head.
But no, I can't.
Now you've stopped yourself.
Oh, you've got to really pike then to do what this one.
Hold me.
I was doing that.
No, go around that way. Onto the back. Onto the back. Rotate. Go over my arm. Go over my arm. Keep your feet together, please. Go around. You've got to, as you get to there, you've got to twist onto your back. Now just drop onto my knees. You go from here, step forward. Now fall backwards. Go onto my arm. Go on. No, stay there. Now just lift off. No, you've got there. Now kick your legs into the air. Now they're sideways. That's the air. Up, out, step. You're not attacking it. It wants to look like from here, it goes 1, 2.
We've got elements of tricks, if you to simplify it, but something which is obviously, oh, that looks difficult, as opposed to, from a skating technical point of view, where the steps that we had were technically difficult steps, but not necessarily obvious to the person watching. I think it needed a more flamboyant, obvious statement of, okay, this is a trick, this is a highlight, to raise the audience, actually, to get the audience participation as well.
Jane and Chris are in Norway with new costumes, new hairstyles, and a brand new routine for the free dance.
It's physically, it's difficult too. You know, there's a lot more lifting for me.
And for me. Sort of.
Jane even does a little lift in there somewhere.
It's a timing thing. I mean, I do take some of his weight, but not the whole thing.
Elements that we've done in the last 10 years, we've sort of collected them together because we just wouldn't have had time to make up completely new things.
The opening moves, the very opening.
Having said that, the opening moves.
Yeah.
I knew you'd contradict me.
No, just one. Well, one. You said every move.
The Olympics are like the European Championships all over again, but more so. In Hammer, Jane and Chris are placed only third in the compulsories, but again come back to win the rumba. Once more, the gold medal is to be decided on the final evening, and by the free dance. There is apprehension tonight among those closest to Chris and Jane.
I wonder what they feel like. I wonder if they're nervous. I wonder if the ISU have advised them correctly, because they've taken advice on what the free dance should be like. And obviously the judges didn't reflect that in Copenhagen. I wonder if they will here. I wonder if the judges don't really like the pros back. I wonder if the ISU allowed the pros to come back just to get the television ratings. I'm not on edge about their skating. I know they'll skate well. I'm more on edge about having 3 Russian judges on the panel. Well, they'll say they're not Russian judges, but they are. They were a year ago, or 2 years ago. I wonder all sorts of things. Who knows? Who really knows?
And the marks for artistic impression 58, 59, 60, 59, 59, 59, 58, 59.
Jane and Chris have won the hearts and flowers of the audience, but not the marks of the judges. The Olympic gold seems to have slipped away. The Russians Grichuk and Platov are next and last on the ice.
They won? We don't know.
Yeah, they win.
Yeah, they won.
The gold?
Yeah.
No, I can't remember the gold. No?
That's the best you've done. Yeah.
Did we come third?
Yeah.
We came third.
Good job, yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
Ooh.
10 years on. 10 years on. 10 years on.
10 years after they won the gold medal at Sarajevo with perfect marks, Torville and Dean have been judged worthy of bronze.
The best reaction, I would say. Best crowd. Again, isn't it? Up it goes.
Can we switch it on for a bit, guys?
What do you think of the judging? Was it fair for you?
We'd like to say tonight the audience were our judges.
Did you feel that you performed the way you expected?
As best as we could perform that routine.
We have a better program than we had in Copenhagen.
Do you think in retrospect
you would have been better off going with your emotions and being a little bit more avant-garde than this?
Possibly we should have just been led with our hearts a little bit more and gone for
something that we personally wanted to do. I mean, not that we didn't enjoy that program. We loved the music, and but when you're under restrictions of 4 minutes and strict tempo, etc., maybe you don't end up with exactly what you would like.
The age? The age.
No, I think if you look what we're doing, our program is a very fast program. We don't have any slow parts in it, and physically it's quite strong. I guess we're still not doing what the ISU wants.
So what do you think they want?
I don't know. I don't care now because we're not doing it.
Was it preordained?
I don't know. Quite mystified about that.
Yeah, there's a lot in skating, you know, there's a lot happens out there, and sometimes there's a lot happens not out there. And one of those things.
As Chris is always saying, we haven't been beaten in competition since we won our first title in 81. Well, European and world title in 81. We haven't been beaten in competition, so something we'll have to deal with.
Torville and Dean have withdrawn from the World Championships. They return to professional skating and a 2-year world tour.